SMT Nation, we back. Nation, today we're going to be talking about Verizon and fiber. The article for this video, inspired by this Fierce Telecom article from Deanna Govertz, I will link it in the description. Also in the description is the real SMT Buy Me a Coffee link. Support your creators that way. And also the mmWave partner link in the description. Save money on wireless service, and you'll be helping out the channel in the process. All right, so titled, Verizon built a walled garden with Fios, but it badly needs watering. I like what Diana did there. Very nice. All right, so Verizon Fios is their fiber-to-premise wireline service. It's seen an incredible evolution, right? It went from like full onslaught expansion and growth to divestiture, where they sold some of it to Frontier, to put on pause to focus on wireless, to reinvigoration and focus, and then kind of slow growth, right? We've seen every phase of this business. Now, truth be told, Verizon's fiber Fios build, right? The fiber to premise, this is both consumer and business when it comes to the fiber to the premise. Really is just in a very specific range of markets. It's not a nationwide service. It's not something that's going to rival what AT&T does, or Spectrum, or Charter, Comcast. It's not that kind of thing. But it is very successful for them where they seem to have it, right? When they get the government funding to build, they get customer share. Customers want the service, and you can see by the utilization and the customer acquisition. When they first deployed Fios in 2005, the goal was to get to 18 million passings in their service territories. And, 30 million serviceable locations seems like a really nice goal for them. And then they started to kind of change their processes, and they started divesting and selling to companies like Frontier. And, they were originally targeting, I think, like 55% of homes with their fiber within their serviceable footprint, and that includes the old DSL area. Now they're looking to get at more of a 70% reach. I think they did reach almost 13 million passings by the end of 2010, and they were kind of picking up pace, right? And they were looking to add about 500,000 new passings per year in 2023, right? So we've seen the phases. The last report we had was Q4 2022, where they had just over 17 million Fios passings. So their goal was to get to 18 million by 2025, and I think they're going to get there. I don't think it should be an issue based on their current pace of 500,000 annually. So they'll be right there. But they're not really seeing service revenues accelerate from the build, and I think it's because the build just isn't very fast. And then, of course, you have penetration rate, which is a totally different metric. How are they competing amongst other fiber offers and other wireline providers? So with all that being said, all right, what is Verizon going to do moving forward to increase revenue and get return of invested capital on this fiber? They got to do some things, all right? This is something that AT&T, I think, has done really well. One of the things that I think Verizon is probably going to focus on is utilizing their newest NG PON 2 technologies to increase capacity tiers. All right, so they introduced the 2 gig service tier in February of 2022 in select regions in the New York City market, and that will continue to expand. But that's really all where it's been. So we're expecting to see more places getting the ability to have the 2 gig service where they do those upgrades. Okay, so wherever Fios service is, they should offer a 2 gig plan, because their competitors are, right? Altice and all these other, companies that are in the same market are already pushing the multi-gig narrative. Also, the 5 gig service plan. If you look at the pricing, right, you got, I think the everyday price for Verizon's 1 gig plan is $90, and then the 2 gig plan is $120. People may want these services. They might want to try more speed, and some customers look at speed as a measure of quality. So that additional $30 in ARPU doesn't really cost Verizon anything more, right? And it's just adding ARPU. And of course, they can make, higher speed tiers as well. AT&T, I think, is charging $180 for 5 gig. Maybe that's something that Verizon can pull off. Google Fiber sells the 5 gig for $125 and 8 gigs for $150. So they're obviously priced more aggressive. But there's something there as well. Verizon could also look at the mobile bundling offers to kind of increase stickiness and add revenue in that respect. And of course, there's other things you could do there. Whole home experiences, different hardware solutions, connected homes. Verizon's got cloud storage and other things. They have to incorporate those things with respect to the Wi-Fi features and, of course, cybersecurity and just integration within the home. But they have to advertise that. They've got to put it in their marketing and build it into the value proposition of their marketing. This is something we haven't really seen. I think Verizon has to get more aggressive with these things in the markets where they have Fios. And they really have to stop lollygagging, because there are companies who are taking share in these markets with A, aggressive pricing, and B, aggressive marketing. The Verizon does offer fiber to the premise, and customers seem to be satisfied. All right, we've seen the surveys, we've seen the what is it called? The NTS scores or whatever. They do well. So it's time that they really aggressively sell this asset and reap the success and the benefits of it. Their revenue in Verizon Fios should not be flat. That is absolutely unacceptable. If there were a couple of things I would like to see Verizon do, obviously it would be to continue to reinvigorate the fiber build. The One Fiber program should continue. It should be revamped to increase and accelerate in places where it makes sense. When it comes to the Fios, I think aggressive promotional activity with what we see with cable. I mean, look what cable is doing. They're experiencing a renaissance in mobile growth, which is going to help their home internet service growth as well. Maintain the stickiness, keep the customer on their services. Verizon has to do the same thing. Now, Verizon doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. They just have to properly, build the wheel and make sure that it functions right. Right? You don't really have to innovate too much. You just have to be competitive and let customers know what they can get. And, they've got quality service based on the surveys, and they can slowly and methodically increase their passings and then get that return on invested capital. This is important to them. What do you guys think? How important is Fios to Verizon? What do you think they should do to improve the revenues there and just make the service performance better? I know that investors want to see this. And don't forget, folks, the maturity in the mobile network space. Verizon is not growing there. They want to maintain, revenues and service revenue and profitability and margins. Well, what are you doing with Fios? Give this business segment your extreme attention. It's important. Look at T-Mobile. They're literally building strategic partnerships to sell and lease fiber. Verizon could explore those things too, where they don't have their own. Like, Verizon is a brand name that people know, and it's synonymous with quality. Maybe they could start looking at things like this. The mobile network space is maturing, and the growth prospects are shrinking. It's time to do more with these assets. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Like, share, subscribe for more. Turn on the bell notification icon to never miss an upload. Links in the description for all things going on with the channel. Big shout out to my YouTube members and patrons for making content on the channel possible. Link in the description for the Patreon, as well as the YouTube membership. You can just hit the join button, and it's right next to the channel name and the subscribe button. You can get early access to videos and exclusives not found anywhere else. All right, so link there. And then don't forget, you can support the SMT with a coffee. Appreciate that. Link in the description. And get a great deal on your wireless service from our partner, Mint Mobile. Link in the description. Thanks for watching, folks. See you on the next one. Peace.